There are moments in life when a person looks into the mirror and whispers to themselves that they are not enough, not strong enough, not smart enough, not attractive enough, not perfect enough. This whisper is not loud, but it is persistent. It grows quietly, like a shadow, until it consumes the way a person sees themselves. This is the story of Dev, a man who spent his entire life chasing perfection, and of how a potter's wheel changed everything he believed about what it means to live. Dev grew up in a home where love felt conditional. When he scored 95 out of 100 on a test, his father asked him where the missing 5 marks had gone. When he painted something colorful and full of life, his teacher circled the mistakes in red. When relatives visited, they compared him with cousins who were taller, stronger, and more talented. Piece by piece, Dev stopped seeing himself as a child worthy of love. He began to see himself as a collection of flaws waiting to be corrected. He carried that belief into adulthood. His shoes shone so brightly they could catch the reflection of the sun, but his eyes always looked tired. His suits were perfectly pressed, but his dreams were folded away. He measured his words carefully before speaking, always terrified of sounding foolish. Yet every night, when the lights went out, his heart whispered the same words. Why is it still not enough? One evening, after another long day of pretending to be flawless, Dev wandered aimlessly through the older part of the city. He felt lost, as if life had become a performance with no audience. That was when he heard a sound, a strange, steady rhythm, a wheel turning, clay thudding, a soft, humming voice. He followed it, curious, until he found himself in a dimly lit workshop. The air was thick with the smell of earth and fire. Clay dust floated in the sunlight like tiny golden specks. Shelves lined the walls, holding pots of all shapes and sizes. Some were tall and elegant, others small and cracked, but each carried its own character. At the center of the room sat an old potter, his beard streaked with clay, his hands steady as they worked on a spinning wheel. Dev stood in silence, watching. A lump of clay rose slowly into the shape of a vase. It stretched, grew tall, curved into form, but suddenly it collapsed, falling into a broken mess. Dev winced, expecting the potter to curse in frustration. But the old man only smiled, pressed the clay back down, and began again. Unable to hold back his curiosity, Dev asked why he did not get angry when the clay broke. The potter looked up, his eyes calm yet sharp. "Why should I be angry?" he said. "The clay falls only to rise again. Every collapse teaches me something new. Every mistake makes me better." Dev frowned. But should not a pot be flawless, perfect in shape? The potter stopped the wheel, leaned closer, and spoke with a voice that seemed to echo with years of wisdom. Flawless. Tell me, young man, have you ever seen a mountain without cracks? Have you seen a river that flows perfectly straight? Have you seen a tree that grows without twists or bends? Dev thought for a moment. He had not. Perfection, the potter said softly, belongs to death. Only lifeless things never change. But the living, they bend, they break, they heal, they reshape. That is what makes them beautiful. The old man walked to a shelf and lifted a small pot. Its rim was uneven, and a thin crack curved down its side. He placed it in Dev's hands. "What do you see?" Dev examined it and shook his head. "It is broken." The potter smiled. "No, it is alive." The crack lets air move through, keeping water fresh. The uneven rim allows it to pour gently. What you see as flaws are what give it purpose. And it is the same with you. The words struck Dev like a hammer against glass. His whole life he had been taught that every flaw must be hidden, every scar erased, every weakness corrected. Yet here was an old man saying that flaws could be gifts, that cracks could carry purpose. For the first time, Dev wondered if he had been chasing a ghost called perfection, an illusion that had stolen his joy. But doubt still clung to him. Then why do people expect perfection, he asked. Why do they judge so quickly when they see flaws? The potter set the cracked pot down carefully. Because people fear their own cracks, he said. They project that fear onto others. If you appear flawless, they feel safe. But when you reveal your scars, you remind them of their own. And not everyone is ready to face themselves. Dev returned to the workshop the next day, and the day after that. At first, he only watched the wheels spin, listened to the potter hum, felt the strange peace that filled the room. Then the potter invited him to try. Dev placed his hands on the clay, but it slipped and broke. He tried again, and it collapsed once more. Frustration burned inside him. "I cannot do this," he shouted. The potter placed a steady hand on his shoulder. "Not yet," he said, "but that is beautiful. Every collapse is not failure. It is proof that you are alive, learning, becoming." Day after day, Dev shaped clay. Most of his pots fell apart, cracked, or twisted into ugly shapes. But slowly, something changed. The clay no longer felt like an enemy. It felt like a reflection. Every time it broke, Dev saw his own life, his own struggles, his own scars, and he began to see that imperfection was not weakness. It was the sign that he was alive. One evening, as the sun bled across the horizon, Dev finally shaped a pot that held together. It was crooked. A dent ran along one side. Its surface was rough. Dev sighed, ashamed. "It is ugly," he muttered. The potter lifted it gently, filled it with water, and poured. The water flowed uneven but steady. The potter smiled. "Ugly. And yet it carries. It serves. It has a purpose. Just like you." Dev's eyes filled with tears. His chest felt lighter than it had in years. For the first time in his life, he whispered words he had never dared to believe. "I am enough. Not because I am perfect, but because I am alive." Now pause for a moment. Think about your own life. Think about the cracks you have tried to hide, the scars you have been ashamed of, the mistakes you thought disqualified you. What if those are not your weaknesses but your greatest gifts? What if the very things you want to erase are the fingerprints of your soul? Look at the people you admire most. Do you love them because they are flawless? Or do you admire them because of the storms they survived, the scars they carry, the struggles they overcame? The truth is simple, though the world forgets it. Life is not glass, fragile and easily shattered. Life is clay, soft and moldable, bending, falling, reshaping. Every collapse you have endured has not destroyed you. It has shaped you into who you are today. So the next time you hear that whisper telling you that you are not enough, remember, Dev. Remember the old potter's words. Perfection belongs to death. Imperfection is life. And then ask yourself, will you continue chasing the ghost of a flawless illusion? Or will you finally embrace the cracks that make you real?